Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing good. So this week I was supposed to post a video about procrastination, and yet again I was guided to do another video before I post that one. So I guess procrastination has to wait yet again, and it's always funny to see how the universe really has a very good sense of humor, so full of paradox. So in this video I'll be talking about what we call the event, which is really the shift. I mean, it's part of the shift. And also my point of view on that, what we call the event. So it has been talked about a lot in QHHT circles. Some people are also talking about on an energetic level, I think. And so I've always been interested in Dolores Cannon's work. So for those of you who don't know who she is, she's actually a hypnotherapist, a pioneer in spiritual hypnosis. She started doing, past lives regressions, and then she created her own technique, which is called quantum healing hypnosis technique, which allows us to go in a deep state of trance where there's really a direct connection with the higher consciousness, the higher self, or the consciousness of all that is, we might say, and the mind is more or less absent of the experience. So there were a lot of reports about an event, this major event happening on Earth, and it has been described in many ways. So some say it was some sort of wave of light that would come over the planet, or some others would say it would be like a big flash of light, very intense flash of light, and that the shift would happen like this in a split of a second, and we would be in the fifth dimension on the new Earth directly after that. So when I listened to all these testimonies, I thought, there's something that doesn't resonate for me, it doesn't click for me somehow. And I didn't understand exactly why, because there are so many people who are talking basically about the same thing. So I was asking myself about that, and then, so it was last week I think, I had a client who was talking about the event to me, and suddenly something clicked into my mind that I actually had a dream 3 weeks ago, so now almost 1 month ago. A lucid dream, a very vivid lucid dream, where I was at the bottom of Mount Bugarache, which is a mountain in the south of France, very similar to Mount Shasta, for example. It has the same kind of energy. And it was the middle of the night, and I was witnessing, there was a huge UFO above the mountain, with a kind of a belt of light circling it. And I was feeling a very strong connection with the ship. So I knew I was related to those beings. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, there was a big flash of light that illuminated the whole valley, and it seemed like it was daylight, although it was in the middle of the night. And it was so tense and so strong that it actually woke me up. And I was like, whoa, what just happened? And my body was a bit shaking like this, and I was feeling, okay, should I get up and see outside the window if there's something, and I got a bit scared, I have to say, because I was alone that night in my house, so I was a bit scared to go see if there was something. And then, just 1 week after that dream, I actually went through this big shift, personal shift, that I spoke about in my last video. So it started really to make sense that actually what I witnessed was something, I experienced the shift personally, and this is where I would like to go today. I would like to say that what I feel concerning this major event is that it's something very personal. It's not something that everyone is going to experience in the same way, neither at the same time. So our spiritual journeys are very personal. It's a very subjective experience, and so we can't say that everyone is going to experience or witness the same thing. It's really, we all have our unique and own journeys, our own paths, because we are all unique beings. So for me, in the beginning I was still asking myself, did I witness this thing because it's going to happen in the future, or is it something that I'm witnessing for me because I'm going through this shift? And my conclusion was that it was my personal way of going through this shift. And what I also feel, and I'm sure that many of you have been feeling this, is that it's not like in a blink of an eye we're going to be on the new Earth in the 5th dimension. It's a process, and there are multiple waves of energy and waves of light that are coming to the planet, and we certainly have been feeling them in the past 2 months. I think it started really in like end of February, maybe mid-March. All these very intense waves of light that really helped us to purge very, very deeply on an emotional level, because we had to, to throw things out of our system, because we are evolving, we are becoming much lighter, our being is becoming much lighter, and we are going up in the dimensions, up in frequencies. And the reason for that is also that if Ascension would happen in a blink of an eye like this, and suddenly we would be in 5th dimension and the new Earth, not all people are ready for this, because not everyone is in 5th dimension yet. There are still people on the planet in 3rd dimension and 4th dimension, and switching like this directly into 5th dimension with the whole planet that is awakened would mean that the people who are not prepared, they would go through immense pain. I mean, and they would go crazy, because if you just raise your frequency just at once, you go from a low frequency to a very high one just at once. You have to basically put up with all your shit in a blink of an eye, and that's too much. That's too much for our systems. It's already pretty intense, so you can't do it just in a blink of an eye. So during my personal QHHT session that I had 10 days ago, what I was shown is that we are currently in the middle of this shift. It's ongoing, it's a process, and what I've been shown is that it's almost like 2 continents are actually separating. And you can imagine that 2 continents separating can be something quite painful. It's very powerful. So it's like the old reality and the new reality, and now it's separating, and both are going, in opposite directions. So you could say that there's the third dimension, which is ego consciousness. It's materialism, rational thinking, the 5 senses. Nothing exists outside of the 5 senses. It's a service to self, very ego-oriented through power and manipulation. Then there's the 4th dimension. So the 4th dimension is we start to awaken, we start to open up to our psychic abilities. But the 4th dimension for me is really the dimension of the spiritual ego, actually, because we are still trapped in judgment of others, especially those who are not awakened. We are very much, focused on the dark ones, the Illuminati or whatever. So the 4th dimension is really the transition to the 5th dimension, and then the 5th dimension is the heart is open. There is a lot of peace and harmony. We are at service for others. There is a lot of love. There is a lot of sharing. And how can you feel that you are already in the 5th dimension? It's that you've resolved a lot of your core wounds. There's a lot of, everything is resolved, and a lot of your fears have been liberated. And you also meet, it's also the people, through the people you meet only nice people, only heart-centered people. There's no more conflict, everything is easy, you can live abundantly, there's no more problem with money, manifesting money, etc. So what is exactly the new Earth? Because I've been asked this before, some people don't exactly understand what the new Earth is. So as I've said, the spiritual journey is very much a personal one, so everyone is experiencing different paths, and many people are in different dimensions. So there are still people in the 3rd dimension, some are in the 4th dimension, some are already in the 5th dimension and above. And what the new Earth is actually the whole planet is awakened, the whole planet, the whole humanity is in 5th dimension, which is not currently the case, because the 3rd, 4th and 5th dimension, we share all the same reality. We share the same reality, but what the difference is that it's the way we perceive the reality that changes. So, for example, in 5th dimension we are much more accepting. of what is, of the exterior world. In the third, fourth dimension, we're still blaming, you know, blaming your parents, blaming the Jews, blaming the Muslims, blaming the US, China, whatever, blaming the Illuminati. We are blaming. We're still trapped in this kind of victim consciousness and not taking responsibility. That doesn't exist in the fifth dimension. So what we will experience on the new earth is this peace and this harmony and this interconnectedness with everything that is, you know, with the environment, with nature, with animals. There is a lot of joy. There is also a lot of sense of lightness as well. So lightness in the environment, but also lightness in the body, because our bodies are much less dense. And so this is why we are also adapting our food. And so because we have these two continents that really represent the old and the new, these two different realities that are actually moving, separating from each other in two different and opposite directions, what we can experience right now is that we can still switch from one to the other quite smoothly, but as it is separating, it's going to be harder and harder actually to go back. So it's like having one foot on one continent and the other on the other continent, and then it's almost like, you know, our legs are being stretched and we have to choose in what reality we are. And sometimes it can be also difficult because we feel that we are leaving behind a lot of people that we love that are not necessarily ready to do this transition, people who might get stuck in 3D, you know. But we really need to trust the process and really need to trust what is good for us and what our journey is. Really focus on your personal journey. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about as well is that currently we are experiencing this shift of the timelines of the collective, because as maybe you are aware of, there is currently this peace treaty that is being discussed between North Korea and South Korea, and this is really a wonderful and amazing sign of the times that are ahead of us. This doesn't mean that we are not going to experience and witness maybe more conflicts and chaos that will be happening in the 3D, because as I said, 3D, 4D and 5D, we share a same reality. It's only the perception of the realities that change. So we will still be witnessing and seeing all the conflicts and the chaos, but at the same time we are shifting this timeline, so we will see more and more peace treaties across the globe, and we can really just trust that peace is on its way on this earth, and the new earth is here. The new earth is really here. We are starting to feel it, and it's really an amazing process. So what is happening currently with Mother Earth, with Gaia, it's that she's purging a lot. There will be floods, there will be earthquakes, there will be volcanoes erupting. We can already see that, I think, happening around the world, because she needs to purge all this darkness, and especially the darkness from the masculine, from the patriarchy. She's purging all of that, and we are assisting her in that, and we are ourselves continuing, of course, to purge what we still have to purge to access these higher dimensions. And also we have to bear in mind that once we are in fifth dimension, so I've been experiencing the fifth dimension, but I know that it doesn't stop there. We are continuing on our spiritual path, and we are going to go up even, you know, further. So it's like 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever dimensions that we're going to experience. I've had a very profound meditation the other day where I actually connected to a part of my being that is in the 11th dimension, and I will talk about that another time, but just to let you know that it is, we are experiencing, you know, different dimensions. Our consciousness is really, we are multi-dimensional beings, so of course we exist on different levels of reality. So what I wanted to do also in this video, so I was guided really to do this meditation to anchor to the new earth. And it is important to do this meditation because it's going to anchor ourselves to this new earth. And this new earth is actually already in existence. It exists simultaneously to this reality. So there's already a part of your future self that is living on the new earth. And if you practice this meditation to anchor to the new earth, And of course feel free to share this video, because the more people actually do the meditation or just anchor to the new earth, visualizing, imagining what it would be like, we are actually speeding up the process for the collective to get there. And just, you know, bear in mind also that it doesn't matter when it happens. Linear time doesn't matter. We don't care when it happens exactly. What is important is the path, it's the journey, it's the process that is important. So if you'd like to join me to do this meditation, I will actually do a kind of introduction to the meditation, and then you can, when the video stops, you can of course continue as long as you wish, or as long as you are called to do so. And just to let you know, I didn't prepare this meditation in advance. I just did it in French, so I have more or less a picture of what I'm going to say, but it's it comes, you know, like spontaneously. Okay, so if you would like to start this meditation with me, just sit down either on a chair or your leg is crossed, or lying down if you prefer, and just close your eyes now. And we are going to take a deep inhale through the belly and hold your breath for a couple of seconds. And now exhale completely, drawing the navel to the spine. And again, deep inhale and exhale. And one more time, inhale. And on the exhale, feel yourself sinking into this relaxed state. Very nice. And now just focus your attention and your consciousness on your heart space. And start feeling that heart space. Start breathing through that heart space. Continue to breathe deeply. And on the exhale, imagine your heart space is expanding. And now on the inhale, inhale love, and exhale fear. Inhale love, and exhale fear. And as you do that, start to feel the environment around you, like a new feeling. You can feel it is very light around you, and your body is feeling very light as well. And with your mind's eye, start looking around and imagining where you are. Maybe you are in the middle of nature, or inside somewhere, or in a city. And let yourself imagine what it looks like. What you are perceiving. And let yourself listen to any sounds you might hear. Maybe you're hearing some children laughing or running around. There is a lot of joy there. And start exploring your environment a little bit. What are you doing? earth. This is the new earth. And maybe you are doing something that you always dreamed to do but never dared to. And maybe you are surrounded by very friendly people who are welcoming you like a soul family. And let yourself feel the experience and embrace any emotions you might have. As you explore your environment, you feel so connected to everything around you. The people, the nature, the earth. There is this feeling of interconnectedness and love and peace and harmony. And now imagine that you are like a tree on this new earth, and your roots go deep into the ground. They go deep into the heart of this new earth, and you feel that your body is grounding to this new earth. And as you feel like a tree, you feel all the living things around you that are so connected to you. The microcosm connecting to the macrocosm. This is your future self on this new earth. And continue to project what you would like to be doing on this new earth. What is your dream life on this new earth? And I invite you to continue the exploration in this inner journey that we are doing now, if you wish to. Going always further into this exploration of harmony, peace, joy, and love. Satnam.